Yo, South Africa, we're back! Last time we dove into the murky waters of South African politics, exposing the high and mighty who treat public funds like their personal piggy bank. And you know what? The response was overwhelming. Seems like you guys are tired of the lies, tired of the empty promises, just like me. So buckle up, because we're about to go deeper, shining a light on even more shady dealings, more broken promises, and more politicians who seem to think they are above the law. Corruption in South Africa isn't loyal to a party, it doesn't wear ANC colors or DA blue. It hides behind power, behind smiling politicians and polished speeches. In part 1, we exposed high-level corruption mainly within the ruling party. But in part 2, we pull back the curtain on more names, across all political lines. If they've abused power, they're here. This is Top 10 Corrupt Politicians in South Africa, Part 2. Now some people might be thinking, Trevor, you're starting with the leader of the opposition, really? But that's the thing about corruption, my friends, it doesn't discriminate. John Steenhuisen, the face of the DA, all clean-cut and serious-looking. He might be good at pointing fingers, but some say he's got a few skeletons in his own closet. Insiders have accused him of playing favorites, promoting his buddies while pushing out anyone who dares to question him. They call it creating a yes-man culture, where everyone's too scared to speak up about dodgy contracts and shady dealings in DA-run municipalities. It might not be straight-up looting, but, come on, turning a blind eye to shady stuff just to protect your own party? That's not leadership, that's just another flavor of corruption. This guy, Mosebenzi Zwane, he's like that friend who keeps borrowing money and forgetting to pay you back. Except in this case, the money he's borrowing is over 280 million rand meant for struggling black farmers. And the friend he's giving it to? Oh, just some Gupta-linked companies, you know, those guys. Zwane, while he was the Minister of Mineral Resources, was supposed to be looking out for the little guy, making sure those farmers got the help they were promised. Instead, he allegedly used his power to pressure officials, rig tenders so his buddies could cash in, and basically turned the whole system into his own personal ATM. And the worst part? Even after the Zondo Commission, which was like a giant spotlight on all the state capture shenanigans, exposed his alleged role in the Vrede Dairy scam, Zwane is still walking free. Not only that, he's still collecting a government paycheck. It's like robbing a bank and then getting a bonus for your entrepreneurial spirit. Helen Zille, the former DA leader, the Iron Lady of the Western Cape. She's smart, she's articulate, and she always seems to have an answer for everything. But some say that behind that sharp mind lies a blind spot, especially when it comes to how gentrification has fueled corruption in the Western Cape. During her time as premier, there were reports of irregular land deals, where developers, you know, those guys with deep pockets, were given access to prime public land. And who lost out? Marginalized communities, the very people who needed that land the most. And when confronted about it, what was her defense? Legal technicalities. As if hiding behind legal jargon makes everything okay. But we all know you can follow the letter of the law and still be morally bankrupt. Ethics, my friends, ethics. Chapter 4. Malusi Gigaba, the Gupta's go-to guy. Malusi Gigaba, this man seemed to have a revolving door for powerful positions, from home affairs to public enterprises. But no matter where he landed, one thing remained constant: his loyalty to the Guptas. Remember those early citizenships the Guptas got, the ones that raised eyebrows all over the country? Yeah, Gigaba was allegedly the guy who greased the wheels. And it didn't stop there. Fast-track tenders, sweetheart deals, you name it. If the Guptas needed something, Gigaba was their man. Ironically, it wasn't even the state capture scandal that brought him down. It was a leaked video, the kind that makes you want to crawl under a rock and disappear forever. But hey, at least the Guptas got what they wanted. And the people? Well, they got a front row seat to how quickly power can corrupt. Chapter 5. Patricia de Lille. From People's Champion to Patricia de Lille, she was the firebrand politician, the one who wasn't afraid to speak truth to power. For a while she was seen as the voice of the people, especially during her time as Cape Town's mayor. But then, the whispers started. Allegations of tender irregularities, of appointments based on loyalty rather than merit, of a once transparent administration becoming shrouded in secrecy. Her own party, the DA, turned against her, accusing her of turning the city's inner workings into her personal fiefdom. She denied it all, of course, but the damage was done. And now, she's a minister again, proving that in South African politics it seems there's always room for a comeback. Chapter 6. Bathabile Dlamini. The social grant gamble. Imagine this. You're responsible for the livelihoods of 17 million South Africans, the most vulnerable in society, who rely on social grants to survive. Now imagine you almost lose all that money. That's what Bathabile Dlamini, former Minister of Social Development, almost did. Instead of fixing the problems at SASSA, the agency responsible for distributing those grants, she made things worse. And when she was called to answer for it, she allegedly lied under oath. Perjury, they call it. You'd think that would be the end of her political career, right? Wrong. She's still a powerful figure in the ANC Women's League, because in South Africa, accountability, it's more like a suggestion. Chapter 7. Bonginkosi Madikizela. He was the rising star of the DA, the next big thing they said. He was charismatic, he connected with the youth, and he was on track to become the premier of the Western Cape. But there was just one tiny problem. A little detail he seemed to have forgotten. He didn't actually have the degree he claimed to have. Now we've all embellished our resumes a little, right? Added a few skills we're proficient in, maybe stretched the truth about our extensive experience. But this wasn't just a white lie. This was a full-blown fabrication, a political con job. The DA, to their credit, acted swiftly, and Madikizela resigned in disgrace. But it made you wonder, how could someone rise so high in a party that prides itself on clean governance without anyone noticing? It's almost like they forgot to Google him. They called her Mama Action, but maybe they should have called her Mama Connections, because Nomvula Mokonyane, former Premier of Gauteng and Minister of Water Affairs, seemed to have a knack for making things happen, especially if it benefited her or her cronies. Remember Bosasa, that company that was basically a front for state capture? Well, they showered Mokonyane with gifts, from meat hampers to security systems to good old-fashioned cash. Why? Because she allegedly used her influence to secure them lucrative government contracts. The Zondo Commission heard it all. The evidence was damning. But did that stop her? Nope. She's still a senior member of the ANC. Accountability? We'll get back to you on that one. Jacob Zuma. What can we say about Mishalozi that hasn't been said before? He's the man who turned state capture into an art form, the Teflon president who seemed to be untouchable. From the Guptas to Nkandla, his presidency was like a masterclass in how to loot a country blind. He ignored court orders, used the intelligence services to spy on his opponents, and even allowed the Guptas to pick his cabinet ministers. And through it all, he maintained his innocence, claiming to be a victim of a political witch hunt. He's facing multiple charges of corruption, fraud, and racketeering, but don't hold your breath waiting for a conviction. Justice in South Africa moves slower than a snail in a staring contest with a sloth. If state capture was a company, Ace Magashule would be the CEO. This man is like the final boss of corruption, the one who makes all the other corrupt officials look like amateurs. From the asbestos scandal to the school tablet fraud to the Free State tender manipulation, Ace has been linked to more shady dealings than we can count. He's currently facing multiple charges of corruption, fraud, money laundering, and racketeering. But don't count him out just yet. He's still a powerful figure in the ANC, and he's got a knack for surviving scandals that would sink anyone else. But here's the thing about Ace. He represents something bigger than himself. He's a symbol of how deeply entrenched corruption has become in South Africa. He's the embodiment of impunity, the belief that some people are above the law. So, there you have it, South Africa. Another 10 politicians who seem to have forgotten who they're supposed to be serving. It's not a pretty picture, is it? But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. We, the people, have the power to change things. We can't rely on the justice system alone because, let's face it, it's moving slower than a snail in a staring contest with a sloth. We need to hold our leaders accountable. We need to demand transparency and integrity. We need to make it clear that corruption will no longer be tolerated. It's time to stop being bystanders and become active citizens. Let's make them afraid to steal from us. It's not about ANC versus DA, it's about truth versus lies. South Africa's greatest enemy isn't just corrupt leaders, it's the silence of citizens. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who did we miss? Who should be in part 3? Like, subscribe, share.